One thing is certain, those Swifties are a fandom that is unmatched by any other when it comes to solving clues, even by the NYPD. And when I say these people are professionals at reading body language, I'm not lying. It appears that they have done it once more, revealing the truth about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's less-than-ideal relationship. This time around, the accusations are pretty serious, so Taylor Swift felt compelled to address them. Only a few months after they began dating, there are rumors that Taylor Swift and her athlete beau are having trouble. Swifties have a lot to say about the singer's romantic life as usual, but this time there are substantial accusations. Serious in the sense that he might be abusing Taylor is what I mean. Travis Kelce's viewed by some as a toxic masculine man. Some believe he's just a harmless, intoxicated man whose actions during the Super Bowl have already made Taylor uncomfortable. Regardless of the actual situation, Taylor's own words are the only ones that can resolve it. And it appears that we have it at last. What did Taylor have to say regarding her partner's unpredictable actions, and are her rose-colored glasses finally coming off? Stay tuned, as I'm going to spill the beans. Is it possible that Taylor has canceled everything because of this one incident? Is this really a big enough problem for Taylor to think about ending things? Now let's dive straight into the heart of the beast, which is the Super Bowl. Thanks to Taylor's beau's brief outburst of wrath, what appeared to be a fairly routine football game swiftly became a global hot topic. Sports can get very competitive, as we all know. Players have been known to yell at one another, knock one another down, and even sustain injuries. Everything about this seems to be intrinsic to the game. This level of fury is understandable, but when a player begins to pick fights with referees and coaches, that's another story. That's when, oh boy, the red warning lights go out. What Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce had was extraordinary up until this point. Swift made the long journey from Japan, where she had just resumed her world record-breaking Eras tour, to support Kelce. The pop sensation, along with her friend Blake Lively and rapper Ice Spice, has been watching the game from the VIP section. The celebrity, who was watching her partner from the stands, proudly observed the athlete as he moved around the field, his head held high and his chest puffed. But as soon as the Kansas City tight end lost the plot and started verbally abusing his elderly coach, the story took a sharp turn. Travis seemed displeased with Isaiah Pacheco for misfiring on a pass from quarterback Patrick Mahomes. I know what most of you are thinking, but so what? There is only one pass. However, it appears that Travis disagrees with this viewpoint. He gets so worked up about it that he loses all composure. He immediately went to his Andy Reid and began yelling at him. Kelce kept yelling at Reid, so Chiefs running back Jerick McKinnon went over to pull him away. Like I mentioned, if he had done this while playing with a partner, his screaming at the top of his lungs might not have been as shocking. However, Travis chose the worst possible person to blame for his breakdown and began criticizing his own coach. It's clear that he is currently receiving backlash online for his impolite and disrespectful actions. Furthermore, if I claimed to be surprised, I would be lying. In a day or two, the smoke would dissipate if this were any other player. However, the man, myth, and legend that is Travis Kelce is the subject of our discussion. None other than Taylor Swift's current boyfriend, the pop queen. With this brief outburst in the field, this legend has effectively directed the Swifties' wrath towards himself. Of course, people commented on this incident right away. Millions of Swifties immediately took to social media after the incident to highlight how inappropriate and risky Travis's actions during the Super Bowl were. Some have speculated that the couple's imminent breakup will be the result of this incident alone. On the internet, people seem to agree that this cannot be a one-time occurrence. Travis did not suddenly become enraged and yell at his coach. Perhaps he exhibits a darker pattern of behavior in private that nobody wants to talk about. Is it possible that Travis Kelce suffers from chronic anger management issues and that his flawless public persona was only compromised during the game? Many people are positive that Taylor was irritated by Travis's clumsy actions during the Super Bowl. This isn't a particularly ridiculous notion because it's evident from her Super Bowl videos and photos that she's having difficulty pretending to be amused by Travis' antics. Cut to innumerable rumors and jokes about Taylor Swift having written songs about the breakup already, which hasn't happened yet, but it very well could. When it comes to celebrity couples, people love to conjecture drama, and anyone paired with Taylor Swift suffers the most. Some fans made jokes about the singer writing a song about this brief relationship right now. Although Taylor hasn't been overtly critical of this recent, rather shady development, her friends don't feel that she needs to hide their disgust at this strange behavior in public. Similar to the Swifties, it appears that many of her friends thought he was the ideal golden retriever boyfriend. Naturally, this gave them their first glimpse of Travis's true nature, that is, when they saw him yelling on screen at a widely reported event in front of a large audience. To be honest, they were all a little taken aback by this, and Taylor was a little anxious too. Her close pals have plenty to say about what Travis did in the game as well. To start with, there's no mistaking that this is one of the biggest football games of the year, not just any old football game. Players will naturally be highly energized and emotions will run high. Even so, Travis ought to behave with more grace and dignity and be more conscious of how he comes across in public. Hey guys, shouting at his teacher and coach isn't exactly a dignified thing to do. Some very intriguing details about the folklore superstar's response to this peculiar occasion have been disclosed by Taylor's source, and it's hardly shocking to learn that Taylor was also somewhat surprised. Imagine being as famous as Taylor Swift and bringing your boyfriend into the spotlight, only for him to occasionally scream on live television, not just at other people, but also at his own teacher and coach. To be honest, that is really embarrassing for Taylor. Taylor is aware of how much of her career depends on how the public views her. That is why she always maintains her composure in public, no matter what is thrown at her. However, it appears that Travis missed this memo, embarrassing both himself and his partner. Naturally, Taylor is not pleased with this conduct. She believes that to be a warning sign, and we all agreed. That's at least reassuring. Realizing that Taylor is able to see through her romance and infatuation and recognize Travis's actions for what they are. Perhaps you're asking yourself, does Travis Kelce even feel bad about his outburst in public? Since it appears that he might not be. After the game, Travis was given a sneak peek at everything that was coming. Knowing that Taylor is considering calling it quits after his embarrassing outburst on the field must have hit him hard. So he made the decision to make some minor concessions. Although I'm not sure if it's a wise move to downplay something that everyone is saying in real time on their screens, Travis made that decision anyhow. The player claimed that his only reason for being upset was that he had wanted the score to be altered. That was his way of saying, let's face it, you guys would have all done the same thing if you were in my shoes. Not only that, but Travis added that Coach Reed is the only reason he is able to keep his emotions in check when playing. Which, given his behavior with Reed, which we all saw, is, I must admit, a little ironic. Reed stepped up to give his side of the story out of gratitude, and it turned out that Travis went straight over to apologize and make things right. It's obvious that the two men's relationship is now back to normal, but what about Taylor and her millions of fans? Do they intend to leave this mess behind just yet? The football player was happy to answer any questions about the couple, showing that he isn't ready to give up on their brief romance just yet. Travis claims that the two stars' personalities and ideals are what draw people to them. It's also why he finds the relationship appealing. He and Taylor both simply adore life. I would be extremely happy too if I were dating a billionaire celebrity, just saying. Many people are asking, what's the big deal these days? After the men work things out, Taylor doesn't seem repulsed enough to end the relationship just yet. So what's the point? However, these people wish to ignore the truth as it is. Taylor is not the only one who will be impacted by her choices. Millions of impressionable young fans around the world who look up to this relationship will also be impacted by them. Would they believe that since their idol is putting up with it too, such rage and violence are now acceptable? It's a risky business, and Taylor needs to consider the message she's giving the world by hanging on to Travis. There's still another, darker concern. Let's be sincere. Can we really expect a man to be composed and gentle in private if he can't contain his rage in front of millions of people? This is also not an isolated incident for the athlete. He received criticism only a year prior for tossing his helmet in frustration following a defeat. It's natural to wonder what someone is like behind closed doors when they lose it in public, and the Super Bowl is about as public as it gets, twice over. Taylor must also think about Travis's response to this. She believes that the violent pushing and yelling was concerning, but I believe that the greater issue here is that Travis would prefer to play it off as a joke after the game rather than take responsibility for his actions and offer an apology. He was prepared to put the embarrassing incident behind him without even acknowledging it or apologizing. We can't say for sure if this incident led to Taylor Swift and her partner splitting up, but I'm willing to guess that it will be mentioned in one of her songs eventually. Fans are currently quite irate on Taylor's behalf. Men who are angry and aggressive need to be held responsible for their acts and behaviors, and we need to stop giving them the benefit of the doubt. And if a vocal person like Taylor is prepared to ignore this aggressive outburst in public, how can the young girls who aspire to be like her ever speak up for themselves and do the right thing? That's all I have to say to you guys for today. However, I'll be back soon with more drama and videos. Remember to click the like and bell buttons to subscribe. Till then, goodbye and be careful.